Hello, and welcome to another week of the Abuse Cartoons live stream. Hello, Joe. Hello, Tubby. Thank you for, or Joe. Uh, Thank you for tolerating my absence last week. I apologize for not being here. Summertime here is hot and humid, and Japan isn't a big fan of preservatives or even refrigeration in some cases. So yeah, I had something that didn't agree with me, so I was really messed up last week. And once I got behind in everything, I couldn't find a day to catch up. So I was going to try to do it the next day, but yeah, it just wasn't going to happen. So apologies for that. And but I'm back, so I will either be twice as good this week or half as bad. So you got that to look forward to. All right. So I think everything is working. My green screen's a little weird. I've got the AC is making a little wrinkle back here. So that dirt on the screen is just my bad green screen. All right. So yeah. So Photoshop again. All right. Hey Tub, how's it going? Yes. So yeah, noticeably absent last week, but that was all illness based. So sorry about that. Yeah, that's a thing that happens. I mean, and people just kind of warn you, be careful. Be careful. Food poisoning goes up because bacteria, grows very easily in this hot, wet climate. Cool. Yeah, thanks, Joe. But yeah, it's all good. So I did, from my sick bed, I did 2 cartoons last week, so we can take a look at those in the comments section. So they're much less inspired. I think having the chat does wonders. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be fixing that. Well, that little smear there is because my green screen is getting blown around by the air in here. So I can either sweat, have a sauna-like room, or have a little wrinkle. So I'll take the wrinkle. Just don't let it happen again. Yes, sir. Of course not. I will be reporting for duty. Yeah, it was pretty good. I've been pretty regular streaming-wise, not time-wise, but at least weekly, because it's tied to the cartoon schedule. So the cartoon kind of keeps me on a schedule, and streaming while doing it means that I'm doing it pretty regularly, just not time-wise. It's always a little earlier or later than I would like. But someday. All right, and my keyboard is not right. There we go. Okay. There we go. Pen is working. Oh, so I hope everyone is doing good. Good. Yes. Yeah. So it's just hot. It's just, yeah. So if you've seen, I think there's a specific animation studio that really focuses on this, but then a lot of the more recent anime has those big kind of billowing cumulonimbus, like stacked clouds that you see, like kind of Florida, kind of Florida looking clouds. So blue sky and those big mountainous white clouds. So that's the beautiful part of Japanese summer. It's crazy hot and humid, but they have those really amazing looking clouds. And so a lot of backgrounds for certain anime, like a lot of the kind of student, high school romance dramas, when they want to show very nostalgic Japan, they'll show those clouds and kind of a golden light. I'm trying to think of some of the shorts that those are in, but yeah, that's very Japan and very now. And also the cicada, I think they're cicada. Yeah, those big, live for a couple of days insects that make that Japanese summer sound. It's like at the beginning of Evangelion. You hear that because it's the first episode. It's the summer, and I think the first sound you hear in that series is the cicada of Japanese summer. All right. But yeah, so things are actually getting a little bit worse here, weather-wise, like international disease incident, pandemic-wise. Things are getting a little bit worse in Japan recently, and a lot of people are they're encouraging, or I guess discouraging people from traveling now. So we have a summer holiday coming up, kind of a big national holiday, kind of second to Golden Week. So Golden Week is the May holiday. We've got a bunch of holidays, national holidays together. So it basically gives you a week off. This is the fall version of that, or I guess late summer version of that, and it's kind of like a Day of the Dead. It is very similar in practice to Day of the Dead, and so you visit the grave of relatives, and you bring them home during this time, and then you go visit again to return their spirit back to the grave. So it's kind of a similar in that way. So you're kind of, it's a remembrance and celebration. And so a lot of people go to their hometowns. They travel to their hometowns because that's where their grandparents or family members are buried, because they may have moved to Tokyo or Yokohama or wherever, Kobe, for work, and they go to their hometown to do that. And now they're telling people not to travel if they don't have to. So some people may actually feel, depending on how religious they are, feel that they need to do that, especially if they have a recently deceased relative, that they may need to do that because it's kind of like, easing the spirit of your relatives and things. So I'm curious if there were people, like, the government is not saying absolutely do not travel. They're just recommending it to not if you don't have to. So I'm curious how many people feel it's like important. They're religious enough to feel that it's important. But yeah, it's yeah. Ah, nice. Yeah, just 1 week. Just missed that that last Tuesday, and I was trying to get back on. I ended up doing streaming for the game channel over the weekend, but I couldn't get back on for drawing before today, so missed a whole week. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't give up. I just couldn't couldn't sit for any length of time, and yeah, it would have been taking a lot of breaks if I would have tried to stream, and a lot of kind of wincing wincing from stomach pain. But yeah, so we're well into the summer season, and so next month is typhoon season. That can basically start any time. I think there's already typhoons in the Sea of Japan. They said that the lurking Chinese warships that are trying to, waiting for their opportunity to claim islands around Japan, had to call off their lurking because of a typhoon. So that's just going to get more and more tense. I love that the opportunism of China is just going to, get more and more oppressive for all of Asia. Japan, Southeast Asia, Korea, they're all encroaching because, they feel 3,000 years ago that those islands belong to them. So, and it just so happens. So historically, if islands, belong to China or, were occupied by Chinese, it just so happens that those islands, either contain like, rare earth minerals or, oil or something that they desperately need right now. So it's just a coincidence, I'm sure. But, they're trying to claim territories that have, that are rich in resources. I'm sure there are islands that, used to be considered China thousands of years ago that don't have any resources, that they're not that interested in. So it's a pretty naked attempt to seize things for production. Yeah. So that's fun. That just makes, living so close to both China and North Korea is not fun. When North Korea was like lobbing missiles over northern Japan, that was making people a little bit nervous. Maybe not as nervous as as South Koreans, but yeah, it's still pretty crazy. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I think that did really well here. Yeah, Coco did really well here because it's that, that magical kind of afterlife, and also the very colorful. So, Obon isn't so colorful, and I think that's really exciting or happy for Japanese to see a similar type of celebration, but that is so has yeah just so much brightness and spectacle to it. So yeah, no, I think that did really well. Yeah, my wife is a big fan of Mexico. She spent a year there. She was a exchange student in university in Mexico, and so she loves Mexican food. And she spoke Spanish better than she spoke English when we first met, which was very funny because I had to rely on my high school Spanish at first, and yeah, it's not great, but yeah, no, I think that's definitely an interesting thing. And the funny thing about Japanese and Spanish is it's linguistically similar. They have the kind of the same limited number of sounds in the language and a lot of similar sounds. And so Japanese people's accent speaking English is pretty rough a lot of times. Like there's a lot of sounds they can't make. But for Spanish speaking, it's much more compatible. So their Spanish accent, it's much easier for them to sound more fluent in Spanish. So there's a lot of people that enjoy that because Japanese speakers or speaking a second language as Japanese, they want to be very perfect about it. They don't want their accent to be very noticeable or kind of hurt comprehension or hurt understanding. So they like that Spanish is more compatible. Hmm. All right. So starting with the boxes again. But yeah, it's good. I'm glad to see everybody. Oh no, yeah, I was. It was definitely just a stomach thing. Yeah, I didn't have any cough or it didn't feel anything flu, no fever or anything, or maybe if it was very light, but just like incredible stomach ache. Yeah, so I was pretty sure it wasn't the thing. And testing isn't. I think it's probably better in the U.S. than it is here. I think I might have some trouble getting tested because I would have to be recommended by a local doctor and if they saw, especially with the just obviously food poisoning symptoms, if I had those, I think they would not I wouldn't be high risk and they wouldn't make it that easy for me. So it sounds like it's getting pretty easy in the US to get tested. I've heard a lot of people talk about and a lot of people saying that they're positive for antibodies, which means they came into contact with it or they're fighting it as they speak, or so that's a very it's very interesting that maybe people are asymptomatic a lot more than they thought, and that might be just from people staying at home, isolating, and then coming into small contact with it, and then just kind of fighting it, fighting it in isolation. Who knows, though? I mean, it's not, nothing is really getting under control. But yeah, luckily at my daughter's school, there's been nobody, and yeah, nothing, no, nothing near me or nothing in proximity. So that's nice. But who knows? It just keeps getting the numbers keep getting higher. It's just that it's frustrating when it's just numbers because we don't know what that means. We don't know who it is or where it is specifically. Like we know like cities or regions, but we don't know who that is and if it's people that are taking risks, that are going to crowded bars or going to hostess clubs or night entertainment and putting themselves at risk because part of the what you're paying for is to be close to somebody and have them pour you drinks and touch your shoulder and laugh at your jokes. So yeah, you can't do that in a mask with a piece of plexiglass between you. Although maybe they'll figure that out someday. Yeah, I didn't hear about any of that. I guess it's it's kind of an underground thing anyhow. But I didn't hear about any alternatives. If any women that rely on like hostess clubs for their income, if they started to do Zoom sessions, like pour drinks on Zoom and laugh at people's jokes on Zoom. But yeah, I didn't hear any alternatives. I'm sure somebody would have covered that here if that would have happened. It's pretty funny, or at least if it was common. Mm. Yeah, yeah. That's true. Yeah, so it's never ending. Yeah. So I don't know. I really don't know what this means for the Olympics. I mean, already a lot of construction and money has gone into the now past 2020 Olympics, or I guess we're now in the middle of it. Um, but I don't know if even next year they did a survey, or like there was like survey numbers of people in Tokyo saying if they're excited or they're interested in the Olympics next year, and a lot of them are like, yeah, you can just cancel it. I think they're still feeling very worried, and since they're unsure, the last thing they want is a bunch of foreigners visiting to feel even more afraid. It would be funny if they actually have like the first like no audience Olympics, because they're doing that with a lot of sports. I think both here and in the U.S. is they're having the games, but there's no crowd, so it's just silence. I'd love to hit a home run or do something amazing, and just have complete silence. It's the response. That has to be so surreal. Yeah, I thought I saw. I don't know if it was the Japanese. It was professional or if it was amateur or something. But I saw a. There were shots of a stadium and people just sitting like at the end of each, or yeah, the end of each row. So very far apart, and so there was only like 100 people or whatever in the entire stadium, or could be at most. Just as an example of how to distance at baseball, but that's got to be weird. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true too. Is you don't want to. Well, fortunately, Japan has a lot of small clinics, local clinics, because there's so many elderly. They need kind of constant, need to keep up on everything, and things need to be monitored. So there's a lot of small clinics here. So not the patient load, and not so much of a chance of running into stuff. Yeah, I imagine hospitals though would be a terrible place. They're really crowded here too. I'm trying to think of what a hospital is like. I mean, most hospitals, there's not an empty seat in the whole place, and they make you pay at like an ATM. Like the whole thing, it's very, you're just going from room to room to room. You go to examination room and you wait, and then you called for your results of any tests or whatever room, and you're just waiting. You've got a number, like at a fast food restaurant or whatever. You've got a number that you're waiting to be called, and you just keep waiting at these different parts, and then you wait for billing, and they present you with everything, and then you don't pay the cashier or the bursar or whatever. You don't pay the person at the window. You then go pay an ATM. So then there's the final insult is waiting in a line in front of an ATM to like jam money or your credit card into to pay after waiting for hours for a single. So it's a day. It's usually like a day experience. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And fortunately, I mean, I guess like outdoor, like track and field and things that they're going to hold outdoor might be a little bit easier of a case too. It's just when stuff would be more confined and people would be more crowded. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder what they're going to do. But yeah, Japanese baseball has been going on for a while. But like I said, there was some pretty funny shots of empty stands, and they did this weird thing where behind the backstop they put like these photo cutouts. I don't know if there was like some contest or some company sponsored it, but it was just a bunch of kids. So it's like shoulders up, cutouts of children, but not quite the right scale, like maybe a little bit too big, stuck on the back of all the seats behind the backstop. And it just looked surreal. It looked bizarre. I don't know what that was. Maybe some kind of contest. You send in your I didn't realize my window's so small. Every time I lift this arm, all you see is this severed hand coming into frame. Sorry about that. But they, yeah, it looked really creepy. It was very surreal because it was like these weird smiling, like wide-eyed children, like all sitting in rows behind the umpire, and yeah, very strange. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, small, yeah, local clinics are great if you can have them, because if you have a decent sized hospital, with a little bit longer driving distance, but you can still like have things checked up on. I think like things like flu and the flu season and stuff would be dealt with a lot better if it was just you had a bunch of little local clinics. But unfortunately, I don't think there's money to do all that, and plus the insurance and stuff makes it so miserable to do anything on a small scale anymore. I think if you're small, your relationship with compared to corporate owned hospitals, your relationship with the insurance companies sucks, and it's miserable, and you spend more of your time filling out forms and filing things and following up on claims than you do seeing patients if you're a smaller clinic, smaller operation. So it would have to be, for America, it would probably have to be a corporate company owned kind of franchise, or kind of a network of little clinics that were all owned by the same company, so they could negotiate with the insurance companies and leave the doctors to just the care part. But then that means the doctors aren't going to be paid anything. So a problem with no solution. Yeah, I don't know. But I was going to make that the top of a thermos, but it's looking like a very wonky coffee cup. Yeah, so hope everyone is doing well. I don't know how different parts of the world, how things are proceeding. It seems like some people are getting over it, but the news I hear from the U.S. is that things are still, like infection is down, but death is up. So I don't know what the hell that means. But yeah, we shall see. This just might be a thing forever. So we're talking about the vaccine race right now, but who knows? And once you go to clinical trials, then you get to see how deadly the vaccine you came up with is. And when you're racing, I don't think you're making the safest decisions, trying to beat other companies. Yeah, I don't know. That's a very awkward looking bottle. But yeah, so the summer vacation then for students is going to be pretty small, just a couple of weeks, because they had 3 months off in the spring. So very short summer holiday. Yeah, this year, 2020, I mean, well, it may just be the 20s in general, but 2020 is going to be oddly memorable because there's just going to be these weird holes in things like people's education and entertainment and sports, or there's going to be like record books and stuff. It's like, why weren't there any records in 2020? Oh, that's right, there were. Yeah, everything was so off. Yeah, they even said maybe no Academy Awards next year because there's no movies, so they don't have anything to give, don't have anything to award except Netflix. So who knows? Oh, sorry. But yeah, this just might be a constant state, which is very bizarre, to just have this heightened, disease awareness until everybody gets it. Yeah, I have a kind of a cafe student that I do English just conversation with, and she works for a shipping company that handles like the routing of the big cargo containers and international shipping. And she was saying things are still really weird with China. Like nothing is normal yet, and people are doing these weird opportunistic things. Where I don't know if I talked about this last time, but yeah, there's a lot of special rules for hazardous material being shipped internationally, and a lot of chemicals that are explosive or inflammable, inflammable, whatever that. It's like the opposite. It's unintuitive, the opposite of what you would think. But the inflammable stuff is has to be handled like very immediately. Like it can't sit in port for any amount of time. So people are taking a lot of chances moving that kind of stuff now because they know the rules aren't going to be enforced to the level that they were before. So they may be able to get away with some shenanigans, which sounds wonderful. I can't wait to see the first big port fire that happens because of that. Yeah, maybe fix this. But yeah, we'll see. All right, some kind of pan. Oh, and we lost. Oh yeah, insurance companies. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and it used to be so much worse too. It's still really bad. It used to be really bad, and I guess like in the 80s and 90s, because yeah, the pharmaceutical companies, like they would have all of their sales women were very, beautiful, like retired models or whatever. So they would have these women visit hospitals, flirt with the doctors, offer them dinners and trips and all kinds of stuff if they, placed large orders with their companies. And they kind of broke that up, and then they put more restrictions on it so that the pharmaceutical companies can't offer a lot of stuff to doctors, as promotion. There can't be payola or kind of that kind of grift going on, but they can. Yeah, but there's still a lot of influence, and also, with all of the advertising, they loosened up the advertising for pharmaceutical companies. So that's why you see all of the drug, like herpes drugs and all kind of aging and those prescription drug advertisements now on television a lot. And the idea is to get people to go around, to go around the doctor and just have a drug name and hear what it does on a commercial, and don't hear about the side effects because they read them so fast, and then go to your doctor and just demand, I want this drug. So they try to market directly to patients, and have patients kind of self-prescribing because they saw a commercial with a guy sitting in a canoe that looked happy, so this must be a good thing for my cholesterol. Yeah. So that was a thing that I think started in the 2000s, where if the rules were going to be too strict for the doctors, then they would just try to go around the doctors straight to the patients to market stuff. But yeah, it's just such big money. Yeah, I mean, everybody that's like, everything that's under attack right now are very weak targets, very soft targets. They need to start going after bigger targets as far as looking for unethical and questionable behavior in much bigger industries than comic books and board games and video games. I mean, when you keep hearing all of these people being canceled or things going on in those tiny industries, you can't even imagine what happens in big pharma. But all right. Yeah, so it's very odd. It's so odd. This year has been so strange to just be seeing news from a distance, just being abroad and watching things happen in the U.S. I have no idea. Because everyone that I talk to individually, it's like, no, there's nothing. But if you watch the news in the U.S., it's like, it's a hellscape everything is on fire, and there's federal agents black bagging everybody, and yeah, you get a very different view. And then you talk to someone actually, they're like, eh. So that's why I need you guys. That's why that's why this live stream is important to keep me sane. Oh yeah, yeah. I was trying to say before, we lost Dolly. Dolly is back. Not yet. She will be back in the UK. She's taking a stop in Amsterdam on her way back to her home country. But yeah, Friday was the day she was traveling. She had some. If she's on sometime, I'll have her tell that story a little bit. She had a bunch of difficulty trying to get everything she needed to get onto the Shinkansen, because she had to fly out of Tokyo, and we're in Osaka, so you have to take the train all the way across the country. And it's nice. It's very easy. It's not cheap, but it's very easy to take. But they have baggage, luggage rules, and so she got pretty frustrated with that right before she was leaving. So one last final insult from Japan on her way home. But yeah, she's on. So she's going to be, she's traveling, I think, for a week or two before she gets settled back home. So when she's back online and on live stream, we'll get to hear how she's readjusting. Yeah, I can't even imagine going back to the U.S., especially right now. Oof. Yeah, with raging bad weather and raging politics and everything. Yeah, just an election year. I think it's a good year to ever. No election year is a good year to be in the U.S. All right. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they used to employ, and I think they had to cut that out because it worked well. But yeah, I think they had restrictions. They started to impose restrictions. I don't know if they were federal or what happened, but yeah, they started to make rules about what you can and can't do for doctors. But still, because a lot of, I mean, as a generalization, most doctors are men, or a lot of doctors are men. So a a saleswoman is much more effective. And I noticed that even in Japan, you'll see where a lot of careers are not very open to women. Drug sales are yeah, a very good job for a woman that wants to who wants to get into sales. That's probably one of the better things to do, because you're just dealing with busy doctors that are usually men. All right. Yeah, I think Eli Lilly. I think I heard they're one of the. There's two. What's this? Pfizer and Eli Lilly. There's two of the big pharmaceuticals that like have a joint operation to roll out their the vaccine for the bad weather as quickly as possible. So I don't know how they decided to share that though. Or maybe they decided to share it so that nobody has to take 100% responsibility for the deaths. Oh, and what was the I can't remember now. I thought I saw it was just a headline, but it was, and I didn't want to read it because it sounded like one of those crazy conspiracy things. But it was very funny about China was claiming that their vaccines aren't just an excuse to collect DNA. It was something weird. It was something weird like that, where they actually had some statement. I mean, I don't know how you can't trust anything around a country that has such control over their media, but I thought that was so funny. It's like people are getting paranoid that they're just doing DNA collection instead of actually vaccinating populations. And that's the thing right away is we already complained about this, but yeah, somebody was on doing a video or something on Twitter or something that right away was saying don't take any vaccines, for this latest situation, because it will, mutate your genes, and they're trying to control people, and yeah, it's just And I guess that's why YouTube decided to not let people rant on their vlogs like that, because you get a lot of crazy people, filling people full of doubt and paranoia. Yes. All right. There we go. So, yeah, I didn't do this when I was just last week when I just did the cartoons off stream. I just like sat and thought, which would make a very boring stream, but I just sat and thought, and as soon as I had an idea, I just drew it. So it went quick, but it's very lifeless. Yeah, you'll see when we do the comments part. You'll see how less inspired things get. Yeah, and it's a shame that Dolly isn't in Japan anymore. She's really fun to hang out with, and I think she, for a short time, was a bartender too. So she mixes good drinks. Yeah, always. Yeah, that was always fun. But, and much cheaper than going to a bar in Japan. Jeez, it's like Manhattan prices for a lot of places here. I mean, you can find cheap local bars, but yeah, if you just wander into some place, you're going to be paying those hotel bar prices for drinks. Yeah, I agree, Joe. Just dumb to get people, to be paranoid. And it's just, that's the frustrating thing is, and just like with the mask situation in the US, people not wanting to wear a mask because they feel it's a I don't know, First Amendment or issue or freedom issue or something, is there's not the thinking, which is it's much more common here, much stronger thinking here, is the greater good, is sacrificing for the whole, for helping for being able to help other people, or be helping the group. So an individual sacrifice to help the group is much more common thinking here. And in the US, it's just every man for themselves, and I'm not going to do that. I don't believe in that. Based on nothing, based on no medical knowledge or scientific knowledge or anything, just a belief. And people really fight hard against stuff. But that's how the country was made. It's that is the kind of people that built the country. So we shouldn't be surprised. It's not like people settled North America and then that type of person just left or disappeared and went away, and then all of the office workers moved in. It's that thinking and that mentality is still very, very prevalent. So yeah, trying to issue group orders is not never going to be easy. Yeah. Mm. So yeah, we'll see. Oh, I don't know. I'm still not convinced that we're ever going to have a normal feeling again, or it's just like once like being aware of something, you're never going to be able to put it completely out of your mind. So being concerned about a disease spreading is going to just make us more self-conscious and more aware of diseases now. So it might mean people have better habits, better hygiene or whatever related to disease, but they're also going to be, which is like in the 80s, the kind of fear of nuclear annihilation, nuclear Armageddon, just kind of hanging over your heads because of the Cold War between, the U.S. and the Soviet Union, and it just never completely went away until what, 89 or whatever. But this is going to be one of those things that's just like, oh, we're always aware of it. It can always be something. It won't be immediate annihilation. It'll just be slow, slow dying off. All right, let me try some more on the. Oh, sorry. Wow. Yeah, up early today, so there's going to be a little bit of that. Dolls are scary. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, some people like clowns and dolls. Like some people that get triggered by that stuff. Yeah, but Dolly's really talented. She is a really good painter. She does like really amazing eyes, and I can't believe the. But maybe it's like kind of the whole community figured out, kind of technically what you need to do to strip old dolls and kind of remake them. But it's amazing. It's amazing what they go through too. Oh yeah, and dolls, especially the ball joint. Oh gee, sorry. The ball joint, the really expensive ball joint dolls are very popular here. And there's kind of a, if you've ever heard the expression, the kind of waifu expression, there's a lot of that in Japan. So somebody will make a doll and then it's, their wife basically, and they carry it around. Like they'll go to conventions, like, manga conventions, or, out to Akihabara or whatever, with a little pillow in their hand holding their doll. And then they also travel with their doll and take photos of their doll at vacation spots and things. Oh, my fold is getting worse here. Yeah, I just need something. I should maybe just tape this. I wanted to make it more temporary because it's kind of like a shower curtain type deal. It's just a PVC pole with my green screen on it. I just want to be able to pull it out of the way. But now I have a little fold. So Joe doesn't like dolls. That's funny. Yeah. Well, it's funny too, like especially if you see like baby doll factories and stuff, like there's like, with the eyes that open and close or whatever, there's like a woman whose job is to hold a baby, like a rubber baby's head, and just jam eyes into it all day. There's something really disturbing about that. Or where they have to like put the hairs in, the little tufts of hairs in rows. Just looks like baby surgery. Yeah, it looks very, very funny. Yeah, I didn't realize how big that community was, and not the Japanese sense, but more the Western, like repaint model sense. So repainting kind of standard types of dolls, but here there's a whole, like build a doll from pieces, like make your perfect doll and then date it or something. I don't know. I think mostly it's for taking photos of, like you're trying to make an aesthetically interesting. So in lieu of having a girlfriend that you photograph for Instagram, you have a doll that you photograph for Instagram. Oh yeah. She's a good painter. She's very talented. Yeah, I always am impressed by her eyes. That's my favorite part of those. Yeah, of those dolls, and I think because they're fixed, they don't move, or they're not like glass eyes or anything like some of the other styles. So they're painted, and she does a really nice job. But yeah, only remote Dolly now. I will only have Livestream Dolly. But she said she may be back before too long, just to visit. But that would be good, and I'd love a chance to, once all this nonsense calms down, go to England. So she might be a good excuse to go to England. Oh, jeez. Oh, and these are in the same thing. Yeah. No, yeah, not life-size dolls. Yeah, the the wife dolls, they're, I don't know, whatever that is, like 12, 18 inches. That No, they're bigger. They're bigger than, because I think Barbie is 12. Like GI Joe and Barbie are 12 inch, so they're a little bit bigger than that. They're like these hobby dolls. Let me see if I can find a good example. But they're very expensive, like because they're very well made. I'm not sure if they're resin or they're just plastic or whatever. But it's like a ball. They're ball joint dolls, so they're very articulated and they hold poses really well. Oh yeah. Oh jeez. Okay, Joe. I agree. I agree with you. Yeah, they're not quite. I guess they can get kind of big, but they're not quite life size. But this is the kind of doll that's kind of popular. Oops, in Japan. I forgot my resolution is like super high on this. Come on. Let's see if I can get this in focus. Yeah, like this. So super realistic dolls that you can put wigs on and dress, and they do get kind of creepy. Here's the yeah wait yeah here's the yuck. Um, this might be closer to the style. Yeah, that kind of is a little artificial looking, but see how it's being photo, like they're doing kind of like dramatic photos of. So this is like, they probably, if it's not an apartment, they probably rented a hotel room just to take this photo over the gardens in Tokyo of their doll in the rain. Some of them, like this previous one, are really well sculpted. I mean, they're beautifully detailed, and I think Japan has a pretty ancient, maybe not ancient, but they have a pretty old doll culture here, because you always see the geisha, and even there's a doll festival. So yeah, actually probably doll culture is a couple thousand years old here, because there's a doll festival in Japan. But they're all these ball joint dolls, and they cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like it's a really expensive hobby. And yeah, and there we go. And then there's books. I see. I'm super amateur. I don't know anything about this hobby at all. But then people produce photo books of dolls. Yeah, so they take pictures of dolls and do photo. So I guess it's a very compliant photography model. But some of the sculpting, like the artistry of a lot of the faces and things, are amazing. But I think a lot of, yeah, there's a lot of oddness, but not life-size dolls. Yes, Chucky. Although the newest, the latest, the remake, reboot, whatever you'd consider it, of Child's Play was really terrible. That just came on Netflix or Hulu in Japan. It was really terrible because they wanted to incorporate, I guess, some technology. So it wasn't it wasn't the spirit or the soul of a murderer that was taking over the doll. It was just technology gone bad or whatever. Yeah, just they really ruined the whole idea. The whole Chucky concept was really ruined. But yeah, that's right. Scary dolls. But yeah, there's a whole. So it's a different. I think the doll community that Dolly is part of, maybe is inspired by the Japanese doll culture, but not quite the same. They're making dolls as like artistic expression. Like they'll think of a concept or a character or something, and then they'll base something on that. They're not making a soulmate or whatever. And the creators do photograph their work, but it's not like they walk around with them, on holiday or anything that I know of. I haven't. I didn't follow Dolly around 24 hours a day. But I have seen at when I've done some comics shows and things here, I do see guys walking down the aisles, like, holding their hand like this, and there's a doll sitting on the palm of their hand. So they're attending the show together. And I'm sure if you talk to the right kind of person at the show, they will compliment your doll or your wife, whatever it is. You will get some compliments about how pretty your doll is. I don't know. I mean, that everybody's got their kink. So No judging, but yeah, but it's a funny thing, and I think just part of it is the having, they wish they had a girlfriend they could take pictures of, and this is the next best thing. And it's not just printed on a body pillow. It's an actual, like, oh, there she is. It's an actual just posable thing. But yeah, I don't know. What am I doing? Oh yeah, coffee. Yeah. uh, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, always it's just that very standard. All of the Japanese wife dolls you see are that very standard, cute magical girl looking. Is that a scoop? That looks bizarre. Kind of, yeah, magical girl looking types, or more, more. They look like cosplay, like a doll doing cosplay. I don't know. I don't know. That's too many levels of weird. All right. Yeah, that works better. Come on. Okay. Yeah, very funny. What is? Yeah, that's very strange. Very funny hobbies here. There's some really obsessive, funny stuff, and it only gets weird. It seems like, yeah, Japan can they can make it weird in other cultures or other situations. Like, I guess that's okay, but yeah, it just gets weird sometimes in Japan. Some of the obsessiveness, or the loneliness, like the things that are caused just by people being lonely or antisocial, and you get fun hobbies. All right, let's try some coffee filters, maybe. Do the those wouldn't stand up though, the paper ones. I guess I'll make it laying down. Yeah, the kind of brown paper filters. Yeah, that old basket style. I haven't seen that in a while. Or maybe it's just not popular here. Nice. Yeah. It's funny. I think there's a strange doll, or not strange. That's a very judgmental word, but I think there is a strong doll culture in Germany as well, because they talk about when people are trying to figure out the origin of the kind of anime manga eyes in Japan, the giant saucer eyes. The closest that they can come up with, or the thing they can come up with, is Japan was importing a lot of German dolls and a lot of German kid dolls, and they had those big soulful eyes, and they thought that was maybe very inspirational. So once comics and animation kind of started taking off, and there was an actual illustration style for pop culture, and also influenced a little bit by Disney too, but not quite. It doesn't look like Disney, but Tezuka Osamu was very Disney inspired, but came up with his own style. And so I think so they think they think that there was a style of doll that was popular here, that was a kid doll with gigantic eyes, and those facial proportions maybe adapted more to like an Asian face proportion is kind of where that came from, because it just instantly looked super cute. And there is a very different kind of cultural response. It just kind of turned into kawaii culture, kind of the weeaboo, whatever, adopting of that. So people know that as like a weird internet term, but there really is a kawaii culture, like a cute culture here, and it's very unique because it's people that and you have this with like reactions to puppies and kittens and babies, but people that have that oh my god, that they call that cute feeling in your chest. I don't know how you would spell that, but like a little cinching of your heart muscle or whatever, because something is so cute. And that's a response, like that's a very natural expression of things. And so you'll hear girls, and kind of that's the stereotype. It went from the photography tourist stereotype to the Japanese, like in the 80s, that was the Japanese stereotype. But now it's the Japanese schoolgirl saying kawaii about everything. But they do. Like that's a form of communication. Like two friends will be looking at, phone straps or character goods or whatever. And that's how they respond to everything. So it's just a standard reaction. And the interesting thing is it's a little bit more nuanced. I think it doesn't, the translation to English is just cute, but the meaning is a little more, it's more complicated, I think, culturally. It's not just cute, because they will say, like an old man, like a weak, kind of having trouble walking old man, a girl might say kawaii about, and meaning that it's weak and pathetic, and so it's kind of pity cute. Yeah, so it's very complicated and doesn't match the kind of Western thinking at all. And also, like, they don't have a word for handsome, or they don't use a word for handsome. A guy that looks good is just cool. You just call him cool. So the meaning of cool, kakui, in Japanese is complicated too, because it means like male handsomeness, like male whatever, good looking, whatever, good style. So when you use it, and it's more male, so when you use it as a woman, you're saying she's a little bit male, it's a little bit masculine. So that the gender stuff is a little funny that way. Japanese words are gendered without having the whatever, the article in front of them. Oh yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's plenty of horror, like Japanese doll horror stories. And an interesting thing, you shouldn't. I'm getting confused about this. You shouldn't throw a doll away in Japan. And anything that there's kind of a tradition, and I might be confusing this with something else, but from what I can remember, things that look like people, you shouldn't throw in the trash. You should burn them. And you can take them to a temple, and they will kind of ritually burn them, because things that look, and this may become kind of a Shinto thing, but things that are in the shape of a human have a spirit. Like they have some kind of spirit that you need to respect. So you shouldn't throw people-looking things in the trash. You should respectfully burn them at a temple, and kind of have them prayed over, which is a little freaky. I mean, and that's like the Chucky thing, like a doll can be haunted or possessed by the spirit of something. So dolls can be have evil spirits in them, like Chucky, like original Chucky, because that's a sensibility. And I think that's I'm pretty sure that's I have that right, that the Japanese thinking. But because they have the doll festival, there's a lot of doll decorations in Japan, and when they get old or kind of worn out, people want to get rid of them, but you should burn them. And they have only like certain times of the year or whatever that they do that, or they do it every so many weeks or whatever. So they collect dolls and little human looking things at temples, and then burn them all in one ceremony. But yeah, Joe, I think you're right. There's some heavy connection to haunted dolls. But it goes pretty deep, like culturally, it's pretty deep. All right, so I'm all coffee about this. Okay, so maybe see if I can do this. I feel very out of practice. All right. Yeah, maybe this is a little chunky looking. It's one of those kind of diner coffee mugs. Oh, let me get the mouth on it so I know where the handle would be. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, I think that works. It's a little wonky looking, but so is most of this cartoon. There we go. So get that into scale a little bit more. Sorry, Joe. It's all dark and late and spooky. Sorry about that, man. Just don't look out the window. You never know. There might be a Japanese doll looking in. Yeah, if you want to see some scary stuff, yeah, if you do searches for the dolls, there's a lot of people that like spooky looking dolls or very kind of horror themed dolls. So things don't even have to get. Yeah, it's very easy to get weird with dolls. The kind of spooky looking. Yeah, oof, yeah. It's just crazy, and it's a really expensive hobby. Super, super expensive. Oh, yeah. Oh, porcelain, yeah, yeah. So I guess the porcelain doll tradition is probably where a lot of that comes from. But the newer stuff is, I don't think it's resin or plastics. But yeah, the old original dolls are porcelain, and so you can still at some of the tourist spots and stuff, you can still find those kind of porcelain geisha dolls or Maiko dolls. I don't know what, but that's I think still a popular souvenir, so. Okay, can I make this look better or worse? Let's see. Maybe a little more foreshortened. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I helped it at all, did I? Maybe. It's a little more solid looking and better scale. Now Joe's all freaked out. He's gonna get dehydrated because Japanese dolls. Mm. Yeah, but they do have really amazing design for joints and things. And even the toys, like all of the different posable toys and stuff, any of the characters that are jointed dolls. It's amazing. They have such amazing articulation, and they hold any pose, so you can be really expressive. And you'll see a lot of times when people photograph their Japanese toys, or Japanese people are photographing like certain, and even like Gundam models and stuff, like the plastic model kits. Oops, the articulation is so amazing. So you get these really amazing poses that they can reproduce illustrations, like, really dynamic posing from illustrations of characters. They can reproduce it with the toys really well and photograph it because they're so amazingly, the fine adjustment and articulate, and it's all like ball joint stuff. But yeah. Yeah, oof. I had to close this Google image search of dolls. It's very creepy. All right. Yeah, because I think they go for that. I guess if you have that culture of dolls having a soul, then yeah, of course you can very easily think that if it has eyes and you're photographing it, you can very easily get to that. All right. Yeah, so maybe this can be a little bit smaller. All right, I think we got the whole thing right here. There we go. Okay, so this is the chaos here. I don't know if there's anything. Oh, this as actually could work as a cake box. Yeah, that would work. So let me fill this and see if I can layer stuff up. Yeah, might have to adjust that a little bit. The angle's a little wrong. Yeah, this is kind of a weird idea that I don't know if it works in the rules. The rules of this cartoon, but let's see. Oh, I don't like the new keyboard shortcut changes in Photoshop. And this here we go complaining about the Photoshop is now not software, it's basically a service. You know, it's a subscription, and you pay for it, and then you can update it. And it's good, I guess, because it limits the although I don't think it really had it. It only has it when it has online features. Security, the security of the software can be better because they can patch things and update things. But then they keep to make it, to give you a good reason to give them $600 a year or whatever for the subscription. They just randomly add features and make changes, and it's never particularly better. Like, they're not making improvements, they're just changing things. And maybe people, you know, like iPhones and stuff, they feel that same sort of thing, where there's this weird feature creep that it's like it's not making it better, it's just like changing it. So now you have to, oh, now that, where's that, that's over here now. Yeah, I don't like that about where we are with software and hardware and things. This changes for no damn good reason. Yeah, I don't sound too old, but yeah, it's just silly. Okay, so let me adjust the box and see if that works. There we go. All right. Wait a minute here. Where's this? There. That's here. Okay. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. It's a little stuck. I don't know. Yeah, this will be a little, the thinking may be a little odd compared to before. Okay, so let me, yeah, so take a break and then color, and then take a break and then write. So first, I guess let's do comments. So I'll show the the chatless, streamingless, yeah, live streamless cartoons from last week. All right. Oh, they went up pretty late, but still got some attention. Okay, let's switch over to comments. Boom. All right. Oh, I like this side because my little green screen flaw is gone. You lock that so I don't move that around. Okay. So when I'm looking at my monitor, it looks like I'm looking at the screen. Not really. It's very bizarre. All right. So this was last week. So yeah, July 30th. She feared losing herself if they ever got together. So the sleeve is so much bigger that it would cover her completely, or almost. Uh-oh. Let's see if every comment is kind or not. So 9 likes and some comments. Come on, baby, just this once. He's a good hugger, though. Oh, nice. Yeah, these are some new faces. In the heat of the moment. Ah, coffee heat. Fear of snuggling. Nice. Wow, that's some new people. Some new members. Maybe I got some more followers on Go Comics. Nice. All right, so look at that. A soulless Starbucks cartoon. And then here's the 28th. So glue. So this one, not as much. After removing the cap, the glue stick felt very vulnerable. So yeah, and I didn't do the thing. I think I've done a joke about glue sticks before with it all completely like rolled out the top, so it looks extra strange. But yeah, I just did a glue stick joke. So no wonder he can't practice safe stick. Nice. Yeah, no covering. Yeah, and I was trying to figure out if what do you call that? Because it's a cap. I thought would have to be more like a disc, and it's a thing. It almost completely encloses the glue stick. So this blue thing. That's what I'm talking about. I guess I just called that a cap, but I'm not. I guess it is. Things that go over the end of something are caps. It doesn't have to be like short. So yeah, I guess that works. Oh, do I have this? Oh, do you have the last old version before the subs started? Oh, let's see. Oh, before I started doing, let's see. Yeah. So, oh, what are we talking about? The subscription one or the last old version before the subs started? Yeah. So on Go Comics, I can't remember. They kind of switched over. It was just an open website that just posted the cartoons that they were syndicating, and then they started doing the premium version. And premium version just means that you have access, like you can see the entire archive. There's no ad breaks or anything, and things don't get cut off. I think if you don't have a subscription and you go to the archive, like after you go back a couple of years of reading cartoons, then it might start prompting you to subscribe. It just might be spamming you with like more ads. But yeah, all the cartoons are up here, and and when they changed things and started offering the premium, then I think it helped because the comments got nicer, and the community was more supportive because they were paying to read comics and have them kind of delivered to their email and stuff. But they're all still the same. There's no like subscription only comics and everything. You can still see things, especially the new ones you can still see on Go Comics. But yeah, I can't remember when they kind of switched over to this model where they started doing the subscription. And it also helped the syndication because the syndication is based on the ad rate. And so kind of like YouTube, when they started the premium, I think it was originally called a YouTube Red or something, but when they started their premium, their ad-free version, so you get ad revenue from a YouTube video from people watching ads, but then you also get revenue from people that paid a subscription when they view videos as well, so you get a piece of that subscription money. So kind of the same way they started doing that, where if you subscribe, there's no ads and no pop-ups or anything, and then it helped. Oh, sorry. Oh. Then it helped the syndication money. Everybody was getting more money per month for the syndication, and it also helped the community. Like anybody that has the premium member thing is like into cartoons, and they're going to be a little bit nicer, less mean-spirited. When people could just come off the street and comment on your cartoon. I got a little rough sometimes. People were pretty brutal, but yeah. So those are the two. Glue. Oh, Photoshop. Oh, sorry. Yeah, subscription. Yeah. No, I have a bunch of Photoshop. Sorry, just went on and on about Go comics. I have the pre CC, I think. So any version of Photoshop that's called CC is that Creative Cloud service. So that's when it went from software to being a service. So I have the latest. I have the I don't know. I haven't updated in a while, but I haven't. It's the latest, whatever the 2020 releases. I have that, but I also have a lot of previous versions installed before CC, just in case I need to do something more simply. Or sometimes there's weird compatibility with old files and stuff, because it makes the files, if you save it in some of the newer versions of it, it'll have a lot of extra garbage. It kind of fattens up the PSD file because it puts a lot of extra weird data in it. And especially if you make it backwards compatible, maximize the backwards compatibility of a newer file, it has all this extra junk in it. So yeah, I've got an old, I think I've got because they gave away Photoshop 1 for a while for free. And that's what all of people that in science departments and research and stuff, they use Photoshop to edit the slides that they're taking of their research, and they need something to edit, and instead of using Microsoft Paint or Windows Paint or whatever, they use very early version of Photoshop. So I think they started giving that away because it was so commonly used for photo editing and laying out a research laying out research for magazines and stuff. So yeah, I have a bunch of old versions of Photoshop installed on this machine, and I always kind of have that. But so I've got the subscription, and then something whatever it's 7, I think 7 or 9, I forget when it jumped, because they were they were doing it sequentially, and then suddenly it just became CC or something, and they just changed, there's no more numbers, and they just started doing it by the year. So you kind of so they could mark versions. They did year releases. So sometimes you'll see the on the about info. Oh, sorry. Oh, on the info for Photoshop. Yeah, but that's the nice thing. The only thing I still like about Adobe is it will allow simultaneous installs of different versions. A lot of software, if you're going to install a newer version, it copies over the old version, so it's just gone. You can't get it back. You can't roll it back. You have to do that digging for old, previous version or oldversion.com or .org or whatever. You have to go and dig for old installers of really old software. If the company just copies over, it won't let you keep the old ones. It's the good thing about Photoshop is you can have any infinite number of previous versions of their applications available, which is nice because sometimes there is weird compatibility stuff. All right, a couple random comics, and we'll get back to some coloring. Whoa, look at that. March 8th, 2006. The short stack stood in for the spatula self-worth. Oh, look at the pancakes. Don't even have eyes. It's just a sad spatula. 2003, wow. 2019. Oh, there's the basket coffee filter. It seemed to him that if coffee filters ever got into the muffin game, things would get ugly. Oh, that's right. You could use a basket coffee filter as a muffin paper. Oh, jeez. 14 likes. See, yeah, blueberry muffins. I think a few weeks ago, there was a blueberry muffin. Don't tell Mary Worth. Oh, my. I can't wait to try one. All right. One more. 2018. An alcoholic egg-based beverage only seemed festive in a vaguely boot-shaped glass mug. Look at that. Christmas boot mug of eggnog. Well, 3 comments. Just the smell of eggnog is festive to me, but please go easy on the nutmeg. And I saw a bum on Skid Row drinking a quart of eggnog out of a paper bag. He looked very festive. Nice. All right. Enough of those comments. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys what you missed, or what I missed from you guys last week. My not so exciting. Okay, wait a minute here. Let me see if I can. It's gonna make my see, I think I can do this live. It's going to make everything worse. But let me see if I can get rid of this wrinkle. It's this way. No. That's plus. That's minus. There we go. So you don't see this like dirty half green screen smudge. I'm shrinking my window, so that means my hand will be cut off even more with my gesturing. There we go. That looks a little better. Yeah, so in OBS you can crop this. There it is. Yeah, see, there's the line. Over here. There's the line. Wait, this way. The flipped camera is killing me. So I can have a stranger pointing at me. But yeah, you can crop things, so I can get rid of the... Oh, there we go. Oh. Oh, yeah. Adobe's in San Francisco. Always wanted to go there, get free Photoshop, and I was nice. Go nice. Yeah, I think so. I bet they are. They're just they changed their business strategy so much, and it's. I mean, I just got into the Adobe ecosystem so early. I mean, from university, I was that was all I used for a lot of things, and I did so much work. Like when Flash was really big, I did a ton of work. Hey, Hazmat. Hugh Jackman. Oh no. But good to see you, Hazmat. Yeah, oh yeah, they just changed their business strategy so much. But I guess to survive, because I think they were living off of those corporate licenses, or when they were those multi-user licenses, because Photoshop was relatively cheap. If you had a previous version, the upgrade was like $100 or whatever, so they weren't making a lot between versions. Whoops, lost my window. There we go. But yeah, all right, so let's color these guys. Try to come up with a scheme that makes sense. Oh yeah, the beard is kind of getting out of control in summer. I think I'm gonna have to rein it in, because wearing a mask in Japan, I can't. All of this doesn't fit under a mask, so I need to do something to make it a little more manageable. All right. Don't know what. Maybe. Like that for the pillow. Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of cake. I wanted a chocolate cake, but yeah, I think that would probably make the most sense anyhow. Let's see. Not too dark, and I'll do the Simpsons colored. I think it's because it's LA colored pastry box, or maybe it's California. Oof, yeah, I definitely have to do the brighter one. There we go. Okay. So let's put some shade on here and see if it makes more sense. All right. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, I hope you're doing well too. Hazmat, yeah, sorry, I wasn't around last week, but I made it back. So yeah, hope it's going well for you too. Yeah, it's still not normal, but we're getting there. I think it's so hard to tell. Yeah, because I don't know. In Japan, if things get worse, I'm not sure if they're going to lock things down again, which means, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. They might just have to improve testing or something to deal with it. And we've got typhoon season coming up, so usually September is typhoon season, so that'll be fun. Get some crazy storms, because there's already been a lot of flooding because the rainy season was excessively wet this year, and so a lot of Asia had flooding, and so we'll get more of that. More heavy rains during the heavy winds plus wind plus insane, because it's hurricanes. The typhoons are Pacific Ocean hurricanes. So if it's Atlantic, it's hurricane season. For Florida, it's hurricanes, and for Japan, it's typhoons. All right. Okay. Something like that. All right. Oh no. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, hopefully being fit will make it a little bit easier to tolerate. That's not... that's close enough. I think that works. And maybe I should do a little, kind of inconsistent edge line. The frosting. Yeah, there we go. It looks a little melting, but that works. Alright. Yeah, that works. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I hope he recovers easily from that. That's crazy. We're still in it. What, 7? Pretty soon 8 months later, depending on when we're going to call the first, the starting time. But we're still in it, and it's August. It's crazy. All right, let's try some eyes here. Yeah, this way. There we go. Something like that. Oh yeah, I gotta come up with that recycled paper color. Let's see, is that it? Yeah, maybe. Coffee can, maybe some Yellow plastic. Sure. There we go. Oh wow. Yeah, that's amazing. Just one guy out of a whole group. I hope we find out more someday. Eventually, the research will be in, but I really hope that they get a better idea of how. Oops, of how this works and. What the vulnerabilities are, like why some people get so sick and some people die and other people don't, and hope we get a better idea. I've just heard kind of random pieces of things, which I won't spread randomly on YouTube, but yeah, I hope we get some better information. And I guess that's the thing that we've never experienced before, is a health crisis like this with social media like this, because all you get is contradicting nonsense all the time, and you realize how slow science and research and everything is at dealing with things. It needs some time to kind of process and do research and come up with good data. It needs data, basically, and that takes time. And people are incredibly impatient when it's we're talking about deadly diseases. People don't have patience for science to figure things out. So I think it's the first time we've really felt science, failing, because there's always kind of, especially with the, our obsession with digital technology and idolizing, idolizing Elon Musk and things. It's like we don't have, this is a totally different layer, so I don't need to do any of that. We don't have a sense of science's vulnerabilities. So it's very very interesting to feel that, because I think that makes people very insecure, and that is probably part of the I thought the doctors and scientists would have all the answers, and they will eventually, but yeah, in the meantime we have a lot of uncertainty. Oh, I should probably do some. Okay. There we go, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, and that unpredictability, I don't think we've quite felt that, to this extent before, so it's very, very disconcerting. And I love that, every world leader, maybe except for the president or whatever of Vietnam. I think Vietnam is the only country in the world that people have said, they did pretty good. They handled things pretty well, because they were saying Korea was doing well for a while, but now they had a second wave, and people don't say that anymore. But it's very funny in this situation. Every world leader is accused of his or her mishandling of this situation. It's like, what are they basing that on? Like, there's no precedent for this. It's like nobody was also alive and in government in 1918 or whatever. So how do you mishandle something that, like, nobody has any idea what they're even dealing with? But that's also the unfortunate part of it being an election year, is like these deaths are on the hands of these politicians. Really? Okay, and so just using it as a political tool is pretty ugly at this point. Yeah, and also, it's not like it's not going to happen again. And if it happens sooner than later, you know, yeah, it's just going to be another unpredictable mess. Oh, all right, there we go. Yeah, and both our so our social media and the media are just making things feel weird and amplified. All right, what are we at here? 70. Yep. Maybe here? No. Maybe here. Falling over. Yeah, that makes more sense. And a little bit smaller. There we go. And we'll do a little bit of coffee grounds. Maybe. Something like that. All right. And trying to make coffee. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, that's too bad. And yeah, it's interesting that it's and maybe because I'm so out of context, you know, I've been so out of American context for so long that I can't get into that same thinking the same way. But it's interesting how like rebellious and how you're not going to tell me what to do. It's like we should just all do the same thing, and then if we see that's not working, then all do something else instead of everybody has their own ideas and their own. Yeah, it's interesting that we're not all in it together. We are definitely it's every man for themselves. Yeah, so I've seen some funny like promotions, like people giving free meals at restaurants for people that won't wear masks, and just kind of reinforcing that. And at the same time, you have Walmart or whatever trying to at the door reinforce, which I think they just stopped. I thought I saw a headline that said Walmart will stop confronting people, and they're probably just making their greeters do it. They're probably just making the 60-year-old people that greet you at Walmart stop you and make you wear a mask. And I'm sure that was fun for them to be have their lives threatened. But yeah, but that's really interesting. I completely don't understand that reaction to it. I mean, it is miserable, especially. I mean, try Japanese summer with a mask on. It's miserable. It's incredibly hard to breathe, and you're sweating and breathing all over your face. And they're even talking about they have to obviously work on the technology, but that it can cause headaches and stuff because you're rebreathing so much more carbon dioxide than you would otherwise. But you want a headache, or do you want some bad weather? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, it's difficult, but I'm very surprised by the reactions and how threatened people are. And then on top of that, protests and things. So yeah, a lot of things all happening at once. And I don't know if you can blame the election year or just there's plenty of things to blame, but yeah, I don't know what is the biggest cause. All right. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, all that's left is the writing. So let me try. So I have a couple of pretty funny things that I found at the convenience store. So twice the convenience store goodness because I missed last week. So let me see if I can get a. Yeah, right. Yeah, working out and stuff in a mask. Yeah, definitely. That's got to be hard. Yeah, and most of the runners and people I see here, I guess they're outside, but they're not. They're not going to wear masks. I haven't been to a gym. Hey, all right. Oh wait, there's my Facebook, everybody. Hey, cool. Let's do this as a background, I guess. How's that? I don't know. Sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, we'll just do this as a random background. So my giant face, but I wanted to get a close up so I can show you a couple of things. So the first funny thing, which I just found today, is a Koikea potato chip. So it's a standard brand of Japanese potato chips, and Evangelion synchronization. Oh, there's yeah, a little bit of green, a little bit of reflecting. But so I'm not sure. Evangelion's been doing a lot of promotion stuff lately. I don't know if there's a new movie or animation or anything, but Evangelion branded chips, I love that it's called a synchronization. It's just like putting a brand. So they did a couple of different flavors of chips, and this is just the consomme version. So and consomme is like soup. What is it like chicken broth, like powdered chicken broth flavor. Yeah, consomme is just the flavor of chicken broth when you have like bouillon cubes or the chicken soup, instant chicken soup. So they put that all over potato chips. So it's either salt, soy sauce, or consomme. Consomme is just kind of a soup flavor. Yeah, they're just very standard potato chips, but they make it. I love the packaging is such a big deal, and like this is only in Japan. This is not ever going to leave anywhere. Oh, there we go. Kenji in front of the chips. Oh, they're good though. Yeah, they're really good. Yeah, the consomme is always kind of savory, kind of a savory chicken flavor potato chip, but pretty light. Very much like a Lay's potato chip, or just a real standard, not like a kettle chip or anything, real thin ones. But 100% Japanese potato, synchronized with Evangelion. Yeah, there's not any funny. Yeah, it's just the chips. There's not any funny story or anything on the back. But I just thought this was so hysterical. These are really boring. I mean, standard, Japanese style potato chips, and they have to be branded with some sort of anime because it's Japan. But they're not bad. Yeah, I can't remember if specifically. I usually have like when there's potato chips, people usually buy either the store brand or Calbee. Calbee is pretty common for chips, for this style of chip. But I do have a lot of nice kettle chips and kind of gourmet chips here too. But yeah. Oh, and there's some stills. There's stills from the anime on the back, but it's just there's nothing, not even like unique flavors. I think it's the same standard flavors, but you just have if you want to collect all 4 bags, all 4 units, you can get the full synchronization. So this is endless. I mean, the branding and cross promotion of potato chips is or snacks, is just endless. All right, and this is the thing that I mentioned, I think in the tweet, the announcement tweet for the stream. Lucky Mayo Ika, so lucky mayonnaise squid snacks. So these are okaki, so I guess just crunchy snacks. So like a cracker or a pretzel or like anything that crunches, I think is okaki. So kaki is kind of a drinking snack, like a beer snack, and this is going to be anything that's squid. The first smell when you open the bag is very bad. It's always very low tide. Which way should I open this? They usually give you a real easy way, but it has a real a minimalist vibe on the bag here. But it's lucky squid and okaki down here, so that you know what's inside because you can't see. Oh, yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, but it's definitely squid. Ugh. Yeah, I mean squid tastes fine. It doesn't taste fishy, but it smells terrible. It's so funny. All right, so yeah, these are pretty standard. They look almost like Cheetos. Yeah, cha-cha-cha. So oh, sorry, the green screen is really filthy looking. Sorry, I didn't get that to be better. Yeah, so kind of just a hard, yeah, like a crunchy Cheeto. Not puffy, not a puffed one, but a crunchy one. Yeah. But yeah, no, it tastes exactly like. So that's a common izakaya or kind of bar standard food too. So not the snacks, but grilled squid, kind of cut up, and then they put mayonnaise on it, or they put you can dip it in mayonnaise. Wow. Yeah, that tastes, but it tastes exactly like that. Whatever the coating is on these, and they maybe are corn. The things themselves are. Yeah, I think they're maybe corn twists. So corn base with a squid mayonnaise flavor on top, but so it tastes like grilled squid, but there's like a weird mayonnaise flavor on top of that. So what you do is you take the little slices of grilled squid and just dip it in mayonnaise, and sometimes they'll put like paprika or some red pepper on top of the mayonnaise. So it's pretty perfect. It's a really good like kind of small snack for drinking. So grilled squid dipped in mayonnaise with like hot pepper, red pepper on top. But these taste just like that. Yeah, but they're just like giant Cheetos. Yeah, there's a huge display of these, and I thought the package was like, so you have no idea what's inside. It just says it's something crunchy. It's like a crunchy snack. Okaki is just a crunchy snack. Could be anything. And they're giant crunchy squid Cheetos with mayonnaise. Yeah, so, and the fact that it was lucky squid, lucky mayonnaise squid. They smell terrible. Like the bag smells terrible. But the taste is really good. It's that, it's kind of a little savory seafood, grilled seafood flavor with mayonnaise on top. On a crunchy corn thing. Corn twist. But kind of like, so one of the early streams that I did the omaibo, the lucky stick. Those are like a giant Cheeto. They're literally like a 5-inch with a hole. I think it's got a hole through it, but a 5-inch puffy Cheeto that has different flavors on it. And this is like the crunchy Cheeto version of this. And they only had one kind. I wonder if they have a spicy one. That would be good. Maybe if there's a red bag or something, a spicy version of this would be good, where it had a little more kick to it. But now I want a Japanese beer or something. That's a very good drinking snack. It makes you thirsty. So Japan, UK, China, Central, South America, just with the US, even now. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, who knows what yeah, who knows? And if things were planned, if the bad weather was planned, it couldn't have been planned any better to get someone out of office, to make somebody look like they don't know what they're doing. And get rid of them. Yeah, they love squid. Hazmat does not like squid. Yeah, but I've had really good squid. Like a really good grilled piece of squid can be like a steak. Like it can be, if it's seasoned and grilled well, it's insane because, the big squid have really thick, the walls of the squid are pretty thick. So you can get a squid steak that is pretty satisfying, like surprisingly satisfying. A lot of times though, calamari and a lot of the cheap, trashy seafood you get, it's not cooked well, it's just boiled. And then they grill it. They'll first like boil it or do something to it to make it last longer, and then they'll deep fry it or something. And it's just rubber. It's just like chewing on a rubber band. So the smell takes a little getting used to, but yeah, I've had some pretty amazing squid, and really good sashimi and stuff too. When it's tender, it's amazing, but it's not always. Yeah, right. I can probably keep them. Yeah, that's what my wife is always saying. She's waiting for a bird to hatch and fly out of my beard. Yes, I got to trim for the summer, definitely, and for the mask too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's a good point. It's there's so much misinformation, and who's paying for this? Like who's benefiting from this? Because the assumption is because the news has moved more towards opinion and trying to get views and clicks and competing with other cable networks and stuff. We're just assuming this is like good natured, benevolent, attention getting some of the headlines and stuff. But who knows? Like what's motivating any of this? It's just crazy. But yeah, I really don't want a repeat of 2016, though. I don't want to talk politics too much, but I really don't want a repeat of 2016 where we get all this bullshit information. He's doing so well. He's ahead. He's double digit. He's got a double digit lead. He's doing so good. He's doing so good. He's doing so good. And then election day, just the cart is tipped over again, and people just lose their fucking minds. I mean, I people don't need to go through that again. I think that was pretty ridiculous for nobody to be accurately reporting anything and have that come out of nowhere and just freak people out, because people are already pretty freaked out. And I think if they get told you've got nothing to worry about, the bad man is going to lose the election, if you have all of that kind of talk and then that doesn't happen, I don't think we've seen any civil unrest yet. Until that happens, that'll be insane. Oof. All right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but good. Yeah, good seafood. That's the thing too. Is most food, almost any food, the good version, like the best version of it, is edible and amazing. But there's so many cheap, trashy versions of just about everything. You can even get a terrible steak. Cheap. I remember. I don't know if that still exists, but one of the first times after moving to LA, I went to Las Vegas, and like all those $5 steak places. It's like a $5 steak. how how bad? What kind of animal does a $5 steak come from? All right. Okay. Well, enough of watching me eat. But yeah, those chips are pretty good. They're surprisingly good. They weren't, and yeah, Japanese potatoes. So I think the potatoes come from Hokkaido. I think all the potatoes, most of the vegetables and stuff are grown in Hokkaido. So the Japanese chips are good because they're not too salty and they're not too. You know how they do that thing with like Pringles and a lot of the flavored chips where they come up with that perfect formula. So when you eat it, you get that shot of flavor, and then it goes away really fast. So you want another one and another one and another one. They kind of get you in that just like eating a whole bag because you want to keep that barbecue flavor or whatever that initial kick is going on in your mouth. Japanese chips don't do that so much. They're real mild in the flavor usually, so you can kind of take them or leave them. It's not like oh you don't get that pop of flavor. But they do have Pringles here and stuff, and it's still the same style. And the bags of things are so small here that, yeah, you don't feel too bad about killing an entire one. All right. Well, let's do some writing and see how it's going here. Oh, good. We just hit the 2-hour mark. Yeah, but it's good to be back. I'm glad I was able to, nothing got in the way this week, and it's glad to get back online. But yeah, and good to see you guys. I'm glad you found the stream. Yeah, I was getting a lot of the other channel, the Idle Red Hens channel, when we went live. That people weren't getting notifications, so it's still really random. I don't know. I think YouTube hates that channel. It's just had, oops, sorry, it's had a really bad time. Oh, that's a here. Let me do that again. Wait. Oh shit! Oh, never mind. You didn't see that. Yeah, you didn't see that. But yeah, one of my favorite kind of sci-fi fantasy artists. That's my wallpaper on my machine. Oh, so I can show you that. Yeah, let me switch over real quick. So this, boom. Oh, I'm in the way. That's right. I'm in the way. But that's that artwork behind me is Paul Bonner artwork. So he's I think Swedish illustrator and or Danish. I can't remember. Scandinavian, I think. And he did a bunch of the illustrations for a lot of fantasy games, fantasy and sci-fi games from the especially Scandinavian ones from the 90s, like late 80s and 90s. And his stuff is, yeah, just amazing. So like Mutant Chronicles or the Swedish version of Dungeons and Dragons or the what became Trudvang. Trudvang has a lot of his color illustrations, which is like a fantasy role-playing game. But I love his stuff. It's like, yeah, super dramatic, exaggerated, yeah, painted illustrations. Good stuff. But anyhow, yeah, so if you saw a flash of that weird desktop, that's what that was. Okay. So yeah. Oh, and you saw my random installations of bizarre games and stuff. You haven't been playing anything recently. Yeah, they did the that Inquisitor, that Warhammer. It's kind of like a Diablo clone, a Warhammer themed Diablo clone. They did a Inquisitor, or it's called Inquisitor, and they did a Mechanicus version of it where you play a Adeptus Mechanicus, like Skitari or like that. You know, they have a bunch of different, but it can be squad based, and it's not necessarily squad based. I think you have a group, but it's like Diablo. It's kind of action RPG. But yeah, that was really fun, and I haven't played any of that at all. All right. Okay, so the idea was, yeah, something about something was missing, or they didn't have, like they wanted water, or yeah, the importance of hot water. I don't know. Yeah, I think I've had the same kind of incompetent coffee making idea before. Oh, sorry, the chat disappeared here. Where is that? Boom. Ah, there we go. All right. Okay, so yeah, so for this, yeah, so it's lacking water. There's no coffee in the mug. So yeah, maybe they underestimated. Yeah. What's going on here? I'm not on that screen. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, basically got. There we go. Boiling water or hot water? Wow, this sounds really familiar. I wonder if I've written this exact same joke. They had underestimated the importance of hot water. Oh, am I still? Yeah, it's still going. Yeah, good. No drop frames. Yeah, I was dropping frames like crazy over the weekend. We're streaming a Zoom call, which was, yeah, not fun to get that working, but yeah, I like that you can. That's the only thing I like about Zoom is you can record it locally, but then I got the notification that you can't do that for more than 40 minutes at a time unless you give them money. So I don't want to pay for Zoom. I want to pay for whatever data I'm giving up and security I'm surrendering by even having that installed. All right. They had underestimated the importance of hot water. That sounds, yeah, super familiar. I wonder if I should come up with a different angle. Yeah, oh, or maybe I should make this coffee filter used. That might be... Yeah, so just put a kind of a line. Oh, I can make it a little wet too, but put a line of coffee color here. Oh wait, and maybe... Oh, it did. Okay. And then soak that in a little bit. Yeah, maybe they were all out of ideas for a second cup. Might be better. That hot water joke sounds really familiar. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly the coffee maker ran away. Yeah, being abandoned by the coffee maker. Let's see. Oof. It came to a second cup. Let's see, is that working? Yeah, yeah. They're out of ideas when it oot. Yeah, something about being abandoned by their coffee maker. Oh, oh yeah, yeah, coffee maker. So so something like pseudo religious. Their maker, yeah, they felt completely abandoned by their coffee maker. I don't know if that's enough of a joke. They're out of ideas when it came to it. Two is backwards. To a second cup. They felt completely abandoned by their coffee maker. I can capitalize coffee maker. Yeah, I like abandon. Yeah, I don't like doing this. Completely abandoned by their... They felt completely abandoned by their... When you say maker, is it capitalized? By their coffee maker. I don't know if that reads or not. Yeah, I like that. I like the missing coffee maker is probably better than the hot water jug. I think I've done a hot water jug before. Oh. So threats of jumping. Threats to jump. Threat to jump. Jeez. I can't see. There's a weird, because of the weird light I'm using, there's a glare on my keys, so I can't see which one. The chocolate cakes. Threat to jump. Was sure how serious. This is a long one to take. The no one was sure how serious to take the chocolate cake's threat to jump. Threatening. threatening to jump. Yeah, Forsaken. Oh, Forsaken is good, Yum. Oh, nice. Yeah, Forsaken gets across the original. Yeah, Forsaken is much. Yeah. Forsaken is much better. Thank you, Yum. Nice. Yeah. Oh, if I can spell it right. Forsaken. They felt completely forsaken by their coffee maker. Yeah, that's perfect. Much better word choice. Thank you, Yum Num. Yes, they felt completely forsaken by their coffee maker. That sounds much more biblical, pseudo-religious. So no one was sure. So yeah, I don't know if this breaks the rules because I don't know how much I talk about like the objects being able to move on their own, or if they can, or if they ever do, because they're just affected. It's more passive, like they're all being kind of passively affected by things. So the only thing they control is kind of their emotions or words or whatever, but not necessarily their actions. So a cake jumping might not be a good way to put it. Yeah, this is a really odd one without the jumping idea. Yeah, I appreciate the chat so much. I really missed that last week. No worries. I'm a pillow. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so maybe, yeah. The chocolate cake felt nothing. Nothing comforting about the I don't know. Chocolate cake felt nothing about the pillows. Pillows strategic position. Yeah, the pillows comforting words, or the felt no. I don't know the pillow's location. Chocolate cake felt. Oh, maybe just nothing comforting about the pillow being there. Lots of typos. All right. So the chocolate cake felt nothing comforting about the pillow being there. Yeah, because then it's not. Yeah, it's not. A cake threatening to jump doesn't. It sounds like way too much nonsense. So something along those lines. The cake felt nothing comforting about the pillow being there. Yeah, something like that. Or felt suspicious, felt yeah, I think well, the chocolate cake felt nothing comforting about the pillow being there. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have one more of these potato chips. Yeah, go for the consomme flavor on those chips. It's really good because it's not crazy. Always, I think when I see consomme, I always think of that that really salty, really biting kind of chicken broth flavor. But these are good, very mild. I wonder why. That's such an interesting thing. I wonder, just based on what was imported from China and what was available in Japan. I wonder why the Japanese palate they like flavors that are so mild, nothing too sweet, nothing too heavy, like everything being very subtle and delicate in flavor. I wonder if that's just because it's hard to do. Like it's easier just to throw a bunch of MSG in some food to give it like big flavor, and I wonder if Japanese cuisine is like a reaction to that, like a reaction to stuff from China, or if that was an earlier style of Chinese cooking or Chinese cuisine that came to Japan. It kind of stayed here, and then more modern China just got heavier and heavier in the salt and the oil and everything. I wonder. So that's really nice with desserts and snacks and things to not just be blown away by salt and sugar all the time. It's not suicide, it's murder. It's a murder. Joe and his brown lives matter. Chocolate lives matter. Yeah, that's the thing. I think color wise, I like the contrast of the pink and the chocolate cake. But yeah, I don't want to. I don't want it to get racial. I don't want it to go that way. Yeah, it's really crazy. There's kind of only one cake maker that makes cakes that are too sweet in Japan, and I think because they're kind of intended just for kids' birthday cakes and birthday parties and things. But everybody else, yeah, you can reliably get a very just perfectly mild, and always the ingredients are really good. Like the fruit is really good if there's fruit on the cake, or the chocolate's really, uh, really uh, well done, like very creamy or very rich chocolate flavor. Yeah, they always do things really well, but also things are insanely expensive. Like desserts are insanely expensive here, but they're always really good and very subtle. Yeah, I wonder where that comes from. If they learned something or just are maintaining some tradition that came here, because so much Japan is just so heavily influenced by Korea and China, and a lot of imported ideas and culture and thinking, like Buddhism and everything. And so I wonder if I wonder when that happened. I'm sure somebody has looked into that. Nothing comforting. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do the cake jumping thing, because I think that's kind of breaking a rule that things move on their own. Yeah, because I think it's more passive. I think that's what makes it more pathetic, is that the objects are just acted on and are reacting from things happening to them. Let's see. Yeah, because then if it's not comforting, then that means there's just an implication that the cake could fall off, or not that it can move on its own. Or maybe the eyes. Yeah, the paper towel. So if the paper towel's like not getting involved, then his eyes might be over here. More. Yeah. Yeah, like they were preparing for something. Oh, yeah, that's a real short. Sometimes the short ones are very. They seemed to be preparing for something. Then it leaves it very open-ended, but very weird as well. Jeez, a lot of typos. I don't know if I like this keyboard. They seem to be preparing for something. I think that works a little bit better. There's a little more weird tension there. Yeah, something like that. So who knows what that exactly implies. But yeah, paper towels, a pillow, and a cake out of the box. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that doesn't get too weird. Yeah, I think that works. But I think I also want to put a shadow behind that button. I'm sure there's an actual name for that. Yeah, just kind of pop that out so it reinforces the depth, because everybody would notice that. Yeah, it's the thing I can always tell when I'm having trouble writing, because I keep fixing the drawing instead of actually coming up with an idea. Yeah, I really like the short jokes. I think that's always, I'm always so much happier when it's just a few words and it says enough to get the idea across. All right, they felt completely forsaken. Thank you, Yum Num. I really like forsaken. It's a much better word choice. By their coffee maker, and a mysterious capitalization on coffee maker. Cool. I think that's gonna do it. Oh, one more thing though. I think I want to make the filter a little wet, like it's still drying. Yeah. So that the coffee maker is gone and the filter is still drying out. Yeah, I think that works. And there's a lot. Yeah, that's good. That works. Good, good. Yeah, I like the shortness. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. I love having some feedback, because it's funny how you'll get stuck in an idea and not be able to step back at all. And getting your input is really great. The chat's input is so much fun with writing, and as you can see from last week, last week's cartoons, it gives me a lot more. Yeah, it's more inspired. It feels much more interesting and a little more complicated, the ideas that come out of it. Nice. All right. Oh, I don't know if I should. This is not cartoon related. I don't know if I should share this or not. So, I was talking before about stories that I'd written. I'd written these like speculative fiction stories a while ago, like 2018, I think. And they just kept coming out. And I wrote like 12 of them. And I don't know what to do with them, because short fiction is just kind of useless. Like, people just give it away now. People just put it on websites for people to read, and it's reading it on a website is not very satisfying. And publishing, like self-publishing a collection of them, is not gonna. No one's gonna see them. So I've been trying to figure out what to do. My first idea was kind of serializing them on Twitter, but the way that I wrote them, it's going to be hard. You'd have to read a whole thread, which is, there's no point in serializing. Like, they don't break down very well, I don't think, because you need kind of the whole rhythm of something, the whole shape of it, because they're short. They're not microfiction, but they're pretty short stories. And so I was trying to figure out a way to easily get them out there and have people be able to, just enjoy the story, because I just wanted to tell an interesting story. And it was the first time that I was satisfied with writing, or satisfied with some of the ideas that I came up with. So the original inspiration is kind of Dark Mirror, but I don't like the politics or the kind of there's some British arrogance or something I don't like about not Dark Mirror, Black Mirror, that I don't like about Black Mirror. There's some interesting little ideas, but mostly I don't like how the stories play out. There's a weird, I don't know, just talking down to people or something. And I just like human drama. Technology and human drama together are weird, or drama inspired by frustrating technology. And so I wrote these stories, and then I said, okay, well then I want to produce them maybe as just little short audio books, or audio, not books, but audio stories, like do an audio version of them. So I was looking at voice actors and figuring out how to budget like producing, because a lot of people will work remotely, voice actors will work remotely. I found some really amazing people, but it's like I still don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if these stories are good enough to actually produce them, produce an audio version of them. But then I was listening to some AI generated voices, and recently there's been, like in the past few years, there's been a big jump in the quality of AI generated voice, like text to speech basically, but it's gotten a lot better and a lot more interesting, and it's still artificial, but because the stories are about technology, I thought it might almost work. Like it might almost make sense that there's a lack of emotion, there's a lack of performance in the voice, and some of the dialogue and some of the writing matches that very well. It's emotionless and has a weird there's a weird quality to it. So I tried, as an experiment, I took the first story and I broke it up into different voices, so the characters in the stories have different voices, so you can kind of hear change of character, because I thought one synthetic voice would be a little bit hard to listen to. So I will post a link for all you wonderful people. Oh, yes, that's a good idea, Joe. Thank you. I'm rambling about those stories. That's a good idea. Make the leaking coffee here. That's a really good idea. Put that below the shadow. Find a coffee color. Yes, because of course it would be, yeah, okay, well I'm going to do multiply, so it won't cover the line very well. So let's try this. It's a little too lost, maybe a little darker, so it's not lost under. And then I can do this. Yeah, that's a good idea, Joe, to well, actually maybe just pure white would work, so that it reads as very wet. Maybe this is too small though. The line is too thin. Okay, yeah. That last line is too much. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense, because why would it not be like leaking? Oh yeah, Instagram. Yeah, Instagram might be good, but visually, yeah, like Instagram was. I was thinking about doing comics. I was thinking about doing frames of my comics on Instagram, and kind of like, because you can guide the story, because you can do 10 images, and I thought that was almost perfect for flipping through a page and just doing panel at a time. Yeah, or Spotify. I can definitely do. Yeah, so now, as a special treat, so you will be the first people ever to hear this. So I'll just send you the link, and you can I won't play it on the stream, so you don't have to listen to it if you don't want to. But I'll send a link, like a cloud link, to the MP3. So I did an MP3 version of the first story that I wrote, and it's a little dramatic. There's a little like I won't go on too much about it, but I'll put a link in the chat here, and maybe on the info text, or the description for the stream of it. And if you guys want to listen to this and see what I'm trying to do, See if it makes sense. And the thing that I'm worried about the most, because I was impressed with how much the technology improved, but I don't know if it's still good enough to listen to. Because the idea, I think a lot of the development of it is to do it, to be able to do instructional, multilingual, like instructions for software developers or for marketing and things, for kind of doing tech demos and explanations where you don't want to hire somebody to voice something, so you can just have an acceptable voice read something that sounds human enough. And there were enough interesting voices to choose from that I thought I could cast the whole, all the characters in the story, I think would work. But yeah, so if you guys want to, let's see. If you want to hear this, let me see. I think that's it. There we go. Yeah, so it's just a box.com. But no, I totally, I'm that same way, Joe. I like things wanting to make sense, like visually make sense. And I think it'll read more as a coffee filter in case people think it's a flat, I don't know, whatever. That wetness will make you understand what's going on. So yeah, that's just a link to the MP3. And yeah, so it's a little speculative fiction thing. It's about a little bit less than 15 minutes long. But I'd be curious about if it works. Like if you could listen to a series of stories like this, or if it's just still too like uncanny valley for your ears kind of thing, where it's close enough to a person talking, but it's annoying because of the obviously artificial, mistakes, the artifacts or whatever that would come through as a thing. But if this works, if I can get this to work, so it's got music and sound effects to try to make it a little bit more listenable. But yeah, if you want to hear that, give me some feedback, because I'm really curious if this works at all. And then I've got a bunch of these. I've got, some are just fragments, but I've got about 15 of these already written that I can just release as like a podcast, or yeah, just put them on. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I tried. I really tried. And the first one, the main character is a woman. So I didn't think, I really wanted a woman's voice for it, because it's a lot of, kind of awkward, because there are some voice actors, like a man that can read a full, read an audiobook of a novel and can move between male and female characters, and you feel the change and it sounds good. But I don't think, my voice, I don't know. I tried it. And it sounded oddly monotonous. And so I'm not sure if this is a better way to do it. But as an experiment, and as a weird connection between the stories being about technology and this being a weird technology reading a story, I thought there was something interesting. Yeah, oh, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, maybe, yeah, I should, because if I process my voice enough too, I can make it, I can kind of make it sound even like more rich and listenable on audio. But yeah, that's true. You know why though? The one thing that makes me self-conscious of that, because a lot of people that read their own writing, they know exactly their intention, so they can read it very well. But have you ever listened to an audiobook written by Chuck Palahniuk? Or written and read by Chuck Palahniuk. So he read, I think, a lot of his books on as audiobooks. So he's the writer of Fight Club, and he's written a lot of stuff. And his voice is really terrible. It's just really thin and nasal, and doesn't sound good. And so his characters are really complicated, and the stories, get pretty rough and pretty desperate. And his voice just doesn't get that across. So I thought that was very funny. That always makes me self-conscious about reading. It's like, yeah, your words, but yeah, delivering them is a whole nother thing. And the acting. Yeah. So yeah, that's funny. Yeah, but I may give that a shot. If this doesn't work, if this is just too annoying to listen to. But and there's also some things there's a couple of places where I need pauses, I think, in some of the words where there's no pauses. or that it just like things bleed together a little bit too much, that for maybe understanding it's important to break it up a little bit. So there's a couple of places where I'm going to need to make changes. But if it works, yeah, if this kind of works, I would love to at least produce the the whole series, like do it as a maybe monthly for a while, like post a story a month or a story every couple of weeks as a podcast for a while, and see if it can get any sort of audience, because I would enjoy to be able to keep writing these, and I keep having ideas and writing down the ideas, but I just don't want them to sit and rot in my in my notebooks or in my cloud storage or whatever. But yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, so I wanted to share that. So I really enjoy having you guys around, and so that's something that I've been working on, and I have this subscription that I'm using for the to do videos on the other channel. So I've got access to a lot of music and sound effects, and I think there's enough there to make the world sound interesting enough without it being too distracting. Yes. No, you have to have a license. Yeah, it's you have to get a license for the software, but once you have the license, you can, whatever you produce with it, you can do whatever you have. It's basically, you can release it professionally, or you can make money off of it, because it's basically, the intent is for it to be generate dynamic speech for if you're doing software walkthroughs or you're explaining some technology or whatever. So it's intended to be used for demonstration, but all you need is the developer's license for the technology, and then you can use it for whatever. So, and I think there's a couple of different sources that I can get voices from, because I want enough of a variety. I don't want you to hear the same voices, because it's a lot of stories, and I don't want every male character to have this voice and every female character to have this voice. So kind of mix it up, switch it up a little bit, so there's more variety. But yeah, so we'll see. And I hope the technology is explained well enough in the technology of the world in the stories is explained well enough. That's another thing I haven't through the stories. The more you read the stories, the more you'll kind of understand how this world works and what the rules are. But I hope it comes across enough in the first one that you can kind of see what's going on. Yeah. But that's nice. Yeah. So as opposed to having to have a budget for voice acting and then directing voice acting and then having them re-record, if so the AI cannot read things perfectly. So I just kind of accept that. It's just like, that's the best I can do. But with a voice actor, you might request that they re-record something, or can you read it this way, or can you do this with your voice? And so that might get a little too bogged down in that, and it gets expensive too, because after a certain, they have limits of how many revisions they'll do. So yeah, it's never going to be perfect, even with a professional human voice. So so I thought I would try this, and it was just an odd combination of things, and I was just amazed how the character in this story, the main character in this story, she has like vocal fry, like it's an AI voice with vocal fry, and that connects you to that character. Like it sounds more like a real person, even though sometimes she it's like there's an artificial like stammer or stutter in how she's talking. It's very it sounds more intimate. As I was very surprised how interesting it sounded. Oh yeah, Fiverr too. Yeah, I talked to a few people on Fiverr. Still, Fiverr is like, it's semi-pro. I don't know any other way to say it. It's like people that are like right on the edge of being good at what they're doing. And I think voices.com is the one that I was using before, and that's like people that are in voice actor guilds and stuff. So some people have limitations about what they can do, how they can work, and their rates. They have they have to get the kind of standard rate, minimal standard hourly rate. so they're a little bit more expensive, but their voices are amazing. I mean, and it's funny because there's a huge jump between someone that sounds pretty good, the voice sounds pretty good, and they can read well, and someone that like does it professionally. Just the emotion and the intimacy of their voice is it's just like another level. So it's just, I don't know if these, yeah, if, because it probably, the budget would have to be just for the voice acting be between like $200 to $300 per story, and I didn't feel confident enough about these stories to, fund that. I might have a very expensive collection of audio files that had nothing to do with. And then I have to do the same thing anyhow. I'd want to put music and sound effects in it. So for me, it's going to be the same amount of work plus the money of the voice acting. So we'll see. Yeah. Oh, that's an awesome idea. Yum, that's insane. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That would be so cool to have, like, because especially for like the lead in lines, or like, so that there's a fictional corporation, kind of the dominant company that basically runs all the technology is named Enmity in this world, in these stories. And I wanted to do like taglines, just like, yeah, to get like a recognizable famous voice to just do a couple lines would, that's brilliant. Totally forgot about Cameo. That would be insane. Yeah. And, or at least just to do an intro and an outro, so it's something, yeah, it would be affordable. But oh, that's a brilliant idea. I'm gonna have to look, yeah, I'm gonna have to see who's on Cameo. Wow. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, people that are in school and are working on that would probably for the for the credit, for the resume, would probably do it. But that's a really brilliant idea. I never thought, because Cameo, you could have recognizable voices. That's crazy. Yeah, of course. Instead of having them wish happy birthday to somebody, I can have them read a line to the story. That's crazy. You have to pay attention though, because if they're in a I'm totally blanking, a guild. If they're union, so if they're union, so the actors are union, they can get in trouble for doing non-union things. But I'm not sure what Cameo must get you around it somehow. But if it's only because it's for personal use. So if I tell them I'm using it, or if I need to be able to use it professionally, like commercially, I wonder if that triggers the union minimums and requirements. That's the thing that makes, yeah, doing anything in LA or New York professionally a real pain, is you're going to run into union requirements, and people that break those rules, endanger their status, and sometimes that's their insurance, or that's their, retirement. That's, they need to stay in good terms, on good terms. But that's really, yeah, really good idea. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. That's a really good idea. I totally, because I yeah, heard about people doing stuff on Cameo, but that's yum. That is a brilliant idea. I didn't even think of that, to get, yeah, a recognizable voice to make, yeah, to kind of legitimize, to make everything familiar. That's really cool. uh yeah, really, yeah, really good idea. Yeah, because especially if it was something I could keep reusing. Yeah, Don Johnson is on Cameo. I could have Don Johnson. Would anybody recognize Don Johnson's voice? That's funny. Yeah, I'll have to go through and see who's on here, and if there's some like perfect match, like if there's somebody that's like, yes, they're famous for their sci-fi voice, and yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, really good idea. So we'll have to see. Yeah, I'll check the rules. I'll check the terms of Cameo, because it might just be, it might have to be only personal, non-commercial use. But yeah, that's really clever. And I could, yeah, even do it as just a gimmick, like if I want to do uh, as an ad or whatever. Not actually something I'm going to sell, but just as a promotion that might make people pay attention. Yeah, but it's, yeah, really clever. Yeah, I'll take a look and see what's going on. No, that's so funny that yeah, there are so many people on there. That has to be so weird too. Like because actors like schedules and things are so random and they're always waiting for the next thing, and to have cameos coming in to have people read things. That's pretty funny. Nice. Yeah, so we'll see. Oh, Gilbert Gottfried. Okay, I think I found the voice of this series. Gilbert Gottfried would be the perfect voice. Oh, nice. All right. Wow. Well, I think we're good. Yeah, it's getting to be that time. I got to see what's going on. Oh, Mark Hamill. Oh, James Earl Jones. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Let's find out. I bet Mark Hamill is. No, but the voice of Mufasa and CNN is not. He must be getting up there though. Well, he did Darth Vader like a few years back. Mark Hamill, I bet, is on here. If I can spell his name correctly. Oh, maybe not. Oh, maybe not. Wow, interesting. Yeah, no Mark Hamill either. If I'm spelling it right, let me see. I don't think it's that fussy about spelling. No, I think it's nope, he's not either. But he does so much voice work. Maybe, yeah, maybe he just doesn't want to risk, because a lot of the people are not known for their acting, but they're not known for their voice work. So if you're a professional voice actor, maybe that hurts. I don't know. There's puppets on here. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to take a look and see. John Daly, the golfer, is $750. Nice. Oh, that's funny. Terry Crews. All right. Oh, that's really funny. Wow. Yeah, a lot of athletes too. I guess because yeah, any fans, that would be the best thing ever. Oh, I wish. Yeah, I wish there was some people that were still alive that could be on here. Wow. Yeah, that's a funny idea. Yeah, I'll read through the terms and see what they say. Oh yeah, acceptable use. There we go. Do not false identify. So forth in the site terms. Okay. You will not violate, infringe, detection. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, they don't want you to have these generate these clips in spam with it. Yeah, where are there other terms? Hate speech, yeah. No hate speech. Okay, so you're responsible for the use of the content. Oh, they're trying to interesting. Yeah, they're trying to kind of distance themselves. So they say anything that is generated between you and the talent on here, that's your responsibility how you use it, but here's things you can't do with it, like spamming and hate speech and whatever, or mislead people. Like I guess there's impressionists and stuff on here. Yeah, nothing that can be harmful. So acceptable use. Yeah, I'll take a look through. They must say, but that's probably how they get around it too. Is just like, yeah, if this person's gonna read something for you and you use it for something that hurts them, then that's between you guys. Just tell them happy birthday. Talent terms. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'll have to find where they spell stuff out, because yeah, you might run into that. Yeah, good to see you, Joe. Yeah, thanks. So Joe and Hazmat And Yum, thanks so much. You guys helped a lot for the. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. No, a business email would be good. Yeah, because if they're already in Cameo, then they have the mechanism to like pay them that amount to do something small. But yeah, it's a good idea. I will definitely check into that. That's a really brilliant idea to make things like legitimize things a little bit more. That would be very cool. I didn't even think of that because yeah, people are more accessible than ever too. So yeah, it wouldn't be hard to ask that kind of thing. But yeah, so I will wrap things up. Yeah, it was very fun. It was great to catch up and yeah, be online this week. It's always good. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, that's right. That's I'm looking at the wrong window. Okay, I'm still online. All right, but yeah. So, barring any, yeah, tragedy, I will be back next week. Yeah, have a good night, everybody. Definitely, and thanks. Yeah, thanks again for hanging out. That was fun, and I had some delicious squid mayonnaise snacks. So I will see you guys next week. See everyone next week, and so the website abusecartoons.com, abuse cartoons on Twitter, and like I showed in the comments section, gocomics.com/domestic abuse for the archive of the cartoons. Sorry. And yeah, so oh, and if you want to support the cartoon, there is a Patreon. So patreon.com/abuse cartoons, and signed books and original art and stuff can be had on there. And yeah, that's it for this week. So I will get these posted, and I'll be back next week. So everybody take care, stay safe. Oh, thanks. Yeah, let me know, Joe. Yeah, let me know what you think. If it's too crazy, or if it actually works. If it's actually something like, the question I'm thinking about is like, could I listen to this as a series instead of just a experiment? All right, take care, and yeah, we'll be back in 1 week. Okay, goodbye.